Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Brain and Code e-commerce teardowns. I'm Sergio Tadeo, Brain and Code COO and e-commerce specialist with over 12 years of experience in the e-commerce industry with multiple Adobe Commerce certifications as well. And today, I'll be one of your co-hosts. And I also have Mel with me as a co-host. Mel is Brain and Code CEO, has over 15 years of experience developing websites, and is a certified usability analyst. Every episode, we select different websites to run a live audit and provide insights and recommendations. And don't forget, if you'd like to have your website featured in one of our episodes, just let us know. Our contacts are in the video description, and we're going to do that with pleasure. So, no further ado, Mel, can we jump to the next website we're going to audit today?
Sure. Okay. Let me just share my screen. The website we are going to look at today, we're going to do some clothing shopping, which I love. Maybe I'll see something here, add to cart. Use our company credit card, test out the checkout. But anyhow, this is the site we're going to look at today. It is called ASOS. So ASOS, for those of you who don't know, is a global online fashion retailer. They sell a big selection of apparel, footwear, accessories, beauty products, etc. They've got a marketplace, and the target, well, maybe not exactly us, maybe we're aging out of it, but young adults, as you can see from the homepage, a lot of trendy wear, people who don't have kids yet and going to party for,
Come
for the New
on,
Year's. We're probably just
I'm
sleeping at home,
a
right?
45 years old adult.
Okay. So maybe we'll find something for you for the party as well. Yeah, so I thought this one would be a good one to look at. We've looked at B2B sites and home office retail sites, and then so there's a adding a good mix to our list of sites that we've reviewed. And so for sites like this, because it is B2C, going to be very, very different than when we look at a B2B site. Your e-commerce personas that you're targeting are going to be driven by very different factors. So your buyers are going to be making impulse buys on some occasions or most occasions. They might come in and be looking for a New Year's Eve party outfit, a top. Maybe they just need a dress, right? And they'll see something else they like. They'll see, oh, like that jacket looks really nice. I should treat myself to a jacket, right? Or they start looking at accessories, and next thing you know, they're gonna have a full outfit and they'll check out because it is definitely an impulsive buy, right? And a lot more visual. I think last episode we were looking at like machinery, right? The construction area. Those buyers typically have a shop list, right? And they need those items for their projects. They're not really like romanced by what it looks like. The models, obviously, like modeling the outfits and the quality of the photography really matter in the B2C environment, as anybody in this apparel retail space knows, right? And so it is about creating that brand. Well, ASOS actually carries a lot of clothing and apparel and items from a multitude of brands, right? So sometimes their photography is also from the vendors themselves, right? And so bringing that all together on the site so it presents in a very cohesive way for their brand is also very important. What else can we mention before we dive in? Well, streamlining navigation. So people are still here to shop, right? And so some of your consumers might be coming here for a very specific item, like that jacket or like that dress that they're looking for. So being able to navigate and know how to find the product. So product discovery is very important because if I'm here, New Year's Eve is next week and I need that dress and I need it delivered. If I can't find what I'm looking for, I'm off to the next site, right? And so it's still very important, even though you're going to get a lot of your personas who are just browsing. But in some cases, they are looking for something very, very specific, right? And then, of course, you want to upsell and cross sell, right? But then still, the navigation is important. What you present on like listing pages, details pages, also very important to increase conversion because in apparel, well, it has to fit. Like I only fit, but one or two sizes. And so and also colors, right? Fabrics and things like that. Like when I'm looking at a specific garment, like if I don't know, if I can't tell very quickly if it comes in my size, or if it doesn't come in my size, leading me to another product, a related product, and trying to keep me on the site and keep me engaged. Like all those things are going to help increase conversions, right? And so, yeah, I think that those are some really key points to raise before we dive in. Anything you want to add before we start dissecting the site?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. Like I like as a B2C website, I like how they play along with things. Like for example, you have here under your account like a Santa Claus hat.
Mhm.
It's subtle, but it's there. And I like that. I like the way they play with. I also like I know we're gonna talk more about, the company and the industry itself and how it's important to have the categories well separated. And then also I like how easy it is to see pretty much of everything the company is offering at the homepage. So these are my initial thoughts.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I love the little touch on the Santa hat too. Feels very festive. Okay, let's dive in. Well, we are on the homepage, and I like to look at the navigation first. And I I think it's well laid out. Like it's very
Hmm.
clear to me that they sell both women and men clothing and accessories. I think their navigation, like even styling it, with a gray and it continues into this bar, is very clear. Yeah, sale trending being the top categories in the left. Like we see sites where the sale and the trending is anchored to the right instead of to the left as the first items. I think that strategically, that's very smart to put the sales up top, especially during the season. Like people are coming to the sites. Actually, it'd be interesting to see, a few weeks later. Well, January, you still have a lot of sales going on, right? But February, March, right, where it's not like Boxing Day or year-end sales like that, none of that is ongoing, whether they actually reorganize the navigation. And if so, I think that that works well too. Like you don't want to be seen as a discount store, right? Which they're not, right? And then so, but during this season where people are looking for Boxing Day sales and deals, and putting that up front is going to be very effective, I think, right? And so and last minute gifts, and maybe you're on a budget, right? So I like that. And being retailer of trendy apparel, then accessories. I think the trending category and the new in is very relevant. A lot of shoppers in this category are going to have seen something on TikTok or Instagram and influencers, helping promote certain brands and redirect to their website, and or they've seen ads and something in a magazine if people still buy magazines, digital magazines, and blogs, right? And they'll have seen a very specific piece of clothing or a look. And so they're here to shop that very specific thing. Like sequins is very trendy for the parties, right? And so I love that they've got the trending there. It's what we call like a thematic method of
Yes,
navigation, not just
yes.
categories, right? So you're providing your website visitor with different ways to get at the products, which I love. Love the visuals too. Very appropriate for the BDC apparel retail space. The new in Yep, this is pretty standard. So I like that too. So I could see they sell clothing, dresses, shoes, plus size, just across the top. One thing I think they could do better as I'm like getting to this more like textual drop down section, the font is small, and maybe yeah, I'm getting older than the target market, but I still think
Maybe
people could
because it's for
benefit.
young adults, not
Yes.
for adults.
Not people in their 40s, but maybe people in their 20s and like 30s as their max. But anyhow, my eyesight is going, and maybe I want a sequence dress too. But yeah, so I think that, it won't take away from the brand, right? So I do think that you have to still adhere to some baseline accessibility design rules. And so just increasing the font size by 1 or 2 points isn't gonna kill the brand. And so I would have
Yeah.
loved to see that bigger.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I was just wondering, it's a thought that crossed my mind, if they took that approach with a smaller font because they have lots of categories. In two columns, you have the shop by occasion, but you have main two columns there. Maybe because they were thinking on mobile approach and thinking that maybe it would take too much space on the screen. But if that was the case, I'm not saying it was, there are ways that they could mitigate that by separated totally that, if you're in mobile, then you use font, with a certain pixel size. And if you're on desktop, a different size, or even on tablet, it's responsive 101 pretty much that can be done on the process. And I agree. If could be increased by, I would say, 1 or 2 pixels, it will be already good enough. And it wouldn't
Yeah.
take much more space than it is right now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, 1 or 2 point sizes will definitely help. And so the other thing, not just the font size, but also the categorization. So I noticed like within clothing, there's definitely opportunities to break this down a bit more, like in terms of grouping the similar categories. So it facilitates the web users' ability to scan and get to category that they need or the subcategory that they need, or even just have a very quick, like, in 2 seconds, I can already understand what they sell in the clothing category. So for example, they separate it by shop by product, shop by occasion, which is fine. Like I think that's quite typical as well. But if you look at the shop by product, so the font sizes don't help, and also the list is quite long. They've got a couple here that are bold, right? So calling out the top rated and the best sellers, which is great again, like for the B2C retail space. But all of these small links are like it's starting to get overwhelming. I think there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, so about 24 categories, subcategories in these two columns. They're all just under shop by product. And so 24 is a pretty big number. Like the rule of thumb for the subcategories and groupings I like to recommend is 12, like 10 to 12 max. And when you're starting to get to, 15, 16, and in their case, like 24 categories, then there's probably opportunity to break that down into further subcategories. For example, like if there was outerwear, right? I could see like coats and jackets and things like that, right? And so that could have its own subcategories. And then there might be um, tops and bottoms, because I see, okay, they have a tops category, but they also have sweaters and cardigans, which is also tops, right? Hoodies and sweatshirts, tops. So if they had tops as a subcategory, they could put maybe 4 or 5 of those would fit under there, and bottoms like your pants and leggings and skirts and, yeah, shirts and blouses would be tops, right? You could kind of see how they would fit in. And then there might be another category like activewear, lingerie, swimwear, that's give it, another subcategory name, right? And so when we're working with our clients on navigation strategy, then we do this exercise a lot where we're looking for similar qualities of the subcategories, and also like what is that mental model that's your buyers, your consumers think of the products. Think about like when you walk into a department store, like if there are natural groupings of items like your products, then try to emulate that in your website. And so I think that in this case, like they definitely have opportunities to group it a little better. And maybe later on, like if we have time, I could pull up another site where I think they do well, because there's a lot of these type of apparel sites that do this very well and really facilitate the speed of navigation for the user that we could look at.
Yeah, agree.
Dresses,
Agree.
shoes. Mhm. Yeah, I like where like in some categories for shoes, they have shop by brand, because yes, when you're looking for shoes, um, I'd say, a lot of people will go shop by brand rather than style. They're looking for something very specific, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think their navigation is pretty solid. It's just some small opportunities to improve, and with those improvements, I think they could really, really just take it up a notch in terms of product findability and navigation. What I found interesting, so I typed in the website URL, and then I landed on the site that we were on before. And so if you take a look here, like when I click on the logo, I expect to go to a homepage. And so it's because I know like I'm shopping for myself. And maybe this is where there is some business reason or some data that ASOS has that, of course, we're not privy to and we don't know about. But it surprises me that when I click on homepage, if I'm already in the women section, that is the homepage. Like there's no overarching homepage. And if I click on men and let's say I'm navigating, I now go look at coats and jackets. And then when I click on the ASOS logo, I'm just on the men's homepage. I feel like when I'm on the site, it's not a bad user experience if I'm just shopping for myself. So like for me, like I have two sons and a husband. And so if when I'm shopping on the women's sites, I am just isolated, like a pigeonholing me in on the women's side. I have no exposure to the men's stuff unless I make a conscious choice to go, okay, I should buy something nice for my husband, right? And then I have to click it. Like there's nothing there just exposing me to this very cool, like, yeah, see, my husband would look good in this, right? So this trend show here, like then I might actually click on it and or maybe there's a sale going on and I see that, ooh, like, yeah, their jackets or men's are also on sale. And I like just being exposed to it would increase the likelihood I would add something in the men's category to my cart. So that
Yeah,
I
but
found surprising.
I agree with you, but I have to think with the business mindset here. Thinking on the target audience, maybe they're only shopping for themselves,
Themselves. Hmm.
and
Yeah.
then as you were going through the categories, the navigation, they have lots of SKU, and ASOS is a is a global brand with so many items to be sold, and I think the way they saw the opportunity was to have pretty much like two websites within one website. So it's just
Mhm.
like women and men were two separate websites, although under the same URL, and two different universe. So if you're a man, you're shopping for men, so go there. It's still, you still have the opportunity to go and click on women at the top, but thinking, and I understand where you're coming from, but thinking on the personas and the target, maybe that was intentionally done. So if you're shopping for women, you'll be in the women universe. If you're shopping for men, you're in the man universe, and then you're only the only way for you
Yes.
to get out of there if you click on different women or men categories.
Yes. I think you nailed it because you're right. Like even when we decide, hey, let's take a look at this site, and then talking about how, well, maybe we're not the target audience here, right? So their target audience might not have a husband or a wife to shop for. And they're just like, okay, I'm just gonna buy myself something nice to go to a party, right? And so that makes a lot of sense. I'd be
Or or
curious. Mhm.
or even if they do, they would say, "Oh, go buy it for yourself and
Yes.
send the link.
Yes. That could
Go
be too.
shop yourself."
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and then so as I was scrolling down, like I could see the homepage is nicely laid out too. So they have a sale going on with specific sale categories, very clear big buttons. And actually does have a pathway to the men's if I am shopping for sale, a small one off to the side. And as I scroll down, right, really thematic. Love the categories. Great imagery. So they really took it to heart that it's imagery that's going to sell on a site like this. If you try to ignore all the photographs, just look at the text or the layout, it's actually very minimalist, functional, organized, and effective, but minimalist. There's not a lot of design going on, and for when we work with clients on like look and feel design, then we always try to educate in this aspect. It's like okay, when we do design, we might have placeholder images or suggested images to create that look and feel, but you really have to think about long term when you're maintaining the site, that your photography is going to be your brand in a lot of cases for e-commerce, right? And so when we build a site, great photographs, but then if in when we're uploading the product data and there's a lack of imagery to support the site's look and feel, your site's going to look very, very different, right? And because in e-commerce, like you don't want to over design, you don't want to stylize things and add flourishes or colors or little graphics because that in a lot of cases it distracts from the shopping experience, right? So I think they've done a great job in this B2C apparel space and letting the images be the hero of
And the
the
images are
design.
speaking by itself, right? And that's what's
Hmm.
selling. That's what really sells the
Exactly.
website. I know you're going to talk about it, but I loved that slice as seen on social, uh, because that's pretty much,
Yes.
where
Hmm.
uh, where people can relate. I just saw
Yes.
something on TikTok, just saw something on Instagram, and then I don't need to browse through hundreds of categories. I just go there. I don't know how often they update that piece, but based on the quality of the website, I would say quite often.
Yes.
But that's amazing. That's amazing because it's almost a direct link to what I just saw on social. So it's great. I love that part.
Yes. And there's more too. So there's the style feed, and there are stylists that are working for the brand who are picking and recommending the look and feels, right? And so yeah, they have this, outfit ideas, editors pick. They also have this like tag. So what you said about the community, it's it's great to see it. A lot of the homepage is actually dedicated to that because it's encouraging that community to post, to share, like the tag, and that, well, this target audience loves to be in the spotlight and to share, right?
And these are
And a
real
lot of the
people, right?
influencers are profiting from it. So yes,
Exactly.
yes, yes, yeah. And
Exactly.
then so to tag and be featured, and yeah, for us, like as a consumer, you could see how great this is and all different body types, which is great to see, right? And you're not just
Yes.
looking at
Yes.
pictures of like that idealistic model and what it looks like. So love it. I won't click here because yeah, I
No,
just want to not
I
spend too
just
much
want to say
time, but it
one
looks like
thing.
there's more. Hmm?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing that's important. When I first arrived to the website, I thought, well, that's definitely a website that I would never find something for myself because I am a big guy. And then I was like, well, they probably only had things for skinny models, those kind of industry, buyer type. And then I was scrolling down and then I saw this session and I saw different body shapes and even body shapes that I could relate it to. And I was like, oh, they do have things for me as well. So, it's weird, but it's almost like a sense of, oh, that's embracing me. Like the
Yes.
brand is
Yeah.
embracing me as
Inclusive.
well.
Yeah. The
Inclusive.
inclusivity is big. And also just, it's not just words saying they're inclusive, but actual real people wearing that garment. And you could see that, oh, yeah, I could look stylish in that too, in my body type. So it kind of helps that the confidence, right? And so
Yes.
you're like, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I could, yeah, I could wear that too. I could pull it off because we all have our self doubts, and yeah, and so I think it's great. Okay. One thing I did want to try out, like when we were talking about at the beginning, was that search, right? That searchability. So if I
Hmm.
was coming here to the site and looking for something very specific, because there's a lot of navigation categories to go through in the drop down menus, then I would I'd probably search, right? Or maybe I'm buying something for my niece and she asked me for one of those really stylish puffy jackets or something. So I want to try it to see if I like being tired, and then I just need to get my Christmas shopping done. I probably go to the search.
I really
Okay, this is
liked
good.
you
Yeah,
only
this is
typed
good.
it two
I mean,
two.
yeah, I know I'm talking multitasking, but you're right. As I typed 2 characters and it's already providing me with a lot of auto suggestions. A
Yes.
few of them match, some more specific than others. I wouldn't have called it a puffer, but now I know that ASOS, and maybe the community called it a puffer jacket. I was gonna call it a puffy jacket. Let me see if it'll actually, yeah, puffy coat still goes up. Okay, but now I know if I go with one of their suggested search terms, it'll probably give me better results, right? And
What do
so
you think the
maybe
numbers are on the right?
I think they are like matching results. So if I click puffer jacket, I'm expecting 448 results. It's not clear, so that's actually a very good, valid question. I think the design could be more intuitive to tell you that. Like for example, puffer vest and getting down to the brand, right? North Face brand puffer, they have
Mhm.
35. So that's why I feel like that would be my guess that this is a broader term and so more results. All right.
Yeah,
What
because
I
my question is, are we seeing 448 results for the puffer jacket, or we have 448 results that contains puffer but also contains jacket, but not necessarily a puffer jacket? So
right. Okay, yeah, so let's see what they've got. Okay, so now I've searched for puffer jacket. Yeah, see 449 styles. So, oh, men's jacket. Another male model, which surprises me because I mean, like, okay, without over analyzing and dissecting this aspect, it's odd. Like, if they did decide that it would be best to separate the two sites, the user experience tells me such, right? But when I search, then it's giving me both. It's it's a bit contradictory to that. I okay, I just noticed they do have gender, and it could be because there's some unisex products, but still, like it could be that like on the women's site they return all of the matching results in the women and unisex category, but you don't necessarily have to show the men items. So it's interesting to see. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
yeah, I think it would be better if they really wanted to separate the genders like they are doing right at the navigation. I think it would be better to have a weight because you could add a weight on the search based on the attribute. So you could say if you are on the women section and you were searching, the difference. Sorry, let me rephrase that because the difference is we are at the home page and the search might be isolated from that. So what technically speaking, there's a way to do it. So the easiest way would be recognize that I'm the women URL and you add weight for the attribute women. And if I search on under that and recognize that I'm in that URL, then you display, let's say, uh, uh, women first, and if we're on the men's
Mhm.
category, then you display men first. And it's not like you're going to isolate the genders, but you will display, let's say, for the first
Yes.
20 or 50 results that based on the category the person is.
Yes, that would be a very smart way to implement that. And I think it would provide a much better user experience because as I'm scrolling down the listings, I could see about 50% are men jacket results. And so I'm like, if, I was that 20-year-old single woman, young adult shopping for a jacket, that would actually be hindering my research ability, right? And so I do see they have one of the drop downs here, but there's a lot of drop downs. So I'm not sure that I would scan and spot that right away. And I actually question what it would look like on mobile. And actually, let's just quickly see what happens. Yeah, see, on mobile, it is collapsed. Actually, that's a sort. And so we have the filter, and that's a pretty long list of filters to be interacting with. And you would have to click and yeah, this sliding left to right or accordion action in filters with nested subcategories like that are a bit tricky to use. I'll still use it, but I probably won't filter by all the categories. I just zoom in on the one that I think would be most effective for me and use one at most two of those filters And on desktop increases the likelihood I would use the filter, but it's still quite a few. Like there's 11 filters here. Actually, there's a sort and it's styled the same way, which is another point. Like it probably should raise that the sort should be styled different than the filters. That might help the filters look less overwhelming, right? And I am curious. Okay, let's go here. If I was, let's switch it up. I'm looking for a dress. So not the search results page, because sometimes there's two different templates. Page templates are implemented for the search results versus your product listing page template. And so I wanted to just have a look to see if they're the same or different. Maybe they're a different strategy, right? And that was just the search results page. But now we're on women dresses, which is one of your product listing pages. And I have to say the same about the search and the filters. A lot of stuff I liked on the homepage, but now that I'm on the product listing page and I really need to find what I'm looking for, you see dresses, I've got over 12,000 results. So as a user, I'd want to be able to quickly filter because I don't want to browse through like over 12,000 dresses, right? And so I probably have something in mind, maybe a style, a color, maybe I want to filter by size, but like we were was noticing on the search results page, I think it had 11 filters on that page. And now I think there's even more. I think they added three more. And so they've like we could tell that they've got some really good bones, like the in this, right? In the filters, the attributes, they have tagged their products with the right attributes, which allows them to use filters. But it's so overwhelming. Like I think they've just overdone it. And also, even if all of the filters are relevant and useful for the consumer to find what they're looking for, there's better ways of presenting it on the front end, right? And so there's a couple sites that come to mind. Let me see if I could find an example because I think well, a picture is worth a thousand words, and so Gap actually does a really good job with product filters, and so see if I could show you guys exactly what I mean. Okay, so let's go to the same category. I went to women's dresses. Uh, they've got some subcategories up top, which is great. So, okay. So yeah, so take a look at the filters and you'll notice a difference. The biggest difference being they're guiding you in the experience. So whether it's by data, user recordings, whatever it is, user feedback, they've determined that the most commonly used filters are these four: category, size, color, and price. It's unlikely that when you look at the ASOS site, right, on that dresses product listing page, they've got, I think, 11 or 13 of those filters. It's unlikely that they're all used to the same frequency, like, or yeah, that for across the board for all users. I know everybody's slightly different and they might go at different filters to find what they're looking for, but
Mm-hmm.
there are some common ones that gets the most use. The most frequently used ones, showcase them, easy access. Now you've got a list of five, one being all filters. So it's like the slight difference in this design styling too. It's got the little icon, so it tells me as a user this one just visually, right? At a glance, I could tell this is a different one than the other four. And I get it. It's like so intuitive. And the other thing we talked about on the search results page, right? Their sort is on the right. It's not grouped with the filters. And so it helps separate things. And if I click on any of these ones, it opens it up with those options. Or I bet if I click on all filters, I have them all. And so they have nine, so not the 13, but still, like the nine is a bit overwhelming if you imagine all these listed across the top, right? And so yeah, I just want to show you a visual of what I'm not saying, it could be exactly implemented as is on the ASOS brand, and they might have a different approach to it, but definitely like make sure you keep in mind those magic numbers, right? Groups of three, groups of seven, max 10. And so the three, five, actually they got five, 3, 5, 7 are like those magic numbers for the brain to be able to see and understand at a glance and not feel overwhelmed, right? And so yeah, so those are some really basic usability principles we like to adhere to.
And
The other thing I know, okay.
yeah, and one of the things that I liked as well, Mel, while you went through, is the fact that now you have just a very small portion of the page
Mm,
saved for the futures, and more area to show up, your products, to what you
yes,
want to sell. So, I would definitely would take advantage of having something like all the features collapsed, just having the most important, more used ones. And they also have the number right beside the price there. See, it's quite tiny. I don't know if it's possible to see. They also have the number, but they label it as items. So now I know that's the results to 254 items, and a little bit different than ASOS were doing with the search, when yes, we had a number which we knew, was pretty much the items as well. But here I'm only seeing items for the women dresses,
yes,
and then it's more consistent with what I'm looking for. So
yeah,
definitely a good improvement, or
yeah,
opportunity to improve to
yeah.
ASOS there.
Yeah, 100%. And so while I've got this site up, there's another thing that I picked up on that I noticed on the ASOS product listing page that didn't point out is that notice how on this Gap site they offer multiple colors, right? So this dress or this jumpsuit comes in two different colors, the charcoal and the tan color. This dress comes in four colors, and I could actually see the color chips right on this page. I don't have to leave the page, click to the product details page, click back, because as we all know, with every single click, you're going to lose a certain percentage of your visitors, right? So you want to
Yes.
facilitate them in seeing the breadth, the range of your product catalog in the most efficient way. So here, let's see if I could, because I saw it on one of the other pages we were clicking. Yep, it's right here. So you see how the treatment's a little different. It does communicate. So they do take that first step. I just wish, they took that second step to improve the usability that much more, is that they communicate that there's more colors. So great, the sequin strappy mini dress. It comes in more colors, but I don't know from this tag what colors, how many more colors, because you saw on the Gap site, some dresses had two color variations, some four, right? And so there you can see that if I had to score the two sites, this would get, a B, right, for communicating that there's more colors, but the Gap site would get an A or A plus for showing it, being able to click through. Because right now, if I click on this, let's see what happens. It brings me to the site, and yes, I could see the different colors, right? The burgundy and the black, which is great. And I have the images that represent it, but it's not going to be as effective as being on the listing page and able to just, look through the whole catalog without leaving this page before I make a decision. So I think, yeah, that's definitely got some room for improvement. And one more thing, because I know from shopping the Gap sites that they also do something. You mentioned the search, right? The number 400 something, and that not being able to tell like what it is.
Yes,
Because I
yes.
recall Gap does this very well, and I didn't have a visual to show the difference. So let's go. Actually, let's try the puffy jacket. So you see their search. If I had to give a recommendation to ASOS for improvement on their search, the auto suggestions are still there, so that's great. But notice how on the Gap site you could see visuals. I have an area dedicated to product results that match. I have categories that I could then filter into with the search term, or click on one of these matching search terms. So I won't go there and go down that rabbit hole, but you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah.
how like it's so much more visually engaging and tells give the user so much more information.
And those categories is exactly what I was mentioning when I was saying
Mhm.
about having the gender right away on the search. So it will be
Right.
even easier for them because they don't have for kids, they don't sell for kids, and they don't have baby products. It'll be men, women, and that's it. And then you click there and
Yes.
go straight to the results. So definitely something that if I was in a round session with ASOS team, I would say, guys, let's let's try this. At least try, do A/B
Mhm.
test and see how, the users will interact with the search. I believe that would improve for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. One thing I did like, and I think I saw it on the Gap site and a lot of these retail sites too, that that sense of scarcity and urgency that is very effective in this space. Less so for like B2B, right? The
Yes,
selling
yeah.
fast, buy this excavator, it doesn't work. But in this case, right, and also because of the social aspect that you want. You don't want FOMO, like fear of missing out. That it's that this dress is all gone in my size, right? You're gonna miss out. I love that they tag it with selling fast. Yes, a selection of these dresses are tagged that way. Let's click through to see if they provide more information on the on that as well. Okay, so I'm looking at this beautiful green dress. So they have the tag here in the image, but not much else mentioned here. So what I was looking for, and let me see if I can find you an example too. It's more specific information. So what we talked about comparing ASOS and Gap on the filters, that if I gave like a score B and then I would give A to Gap, I just feel like they're starting to implement a lot of these good conversion elements, but there's just one more step that they could take to make it that much more effective. I think Abercrombie and Fitch actually does this very well. Let's go to the same category just so we could compare apples to apples. I love the icons here. Okay, so notice the difference. Abercrombie and Fitch also communicates the sense of urgency and scarcity, but they are even more specific. Three people purchase this, two people purchase this. They're telling you that these are being snatched up and by like how many. When I click here, let's take a look at this. Uh, so again, that this is what I was looking for. On the product detail page in this buy area, there's actually an opportunity to communicate even more specific urgency messages. It could be a countdown, it could be like what they're doing here, almost gone. Like it could be a generic message, but maybe said differently than the selling fast. Um, Here they're even saying like how many people, how many users are on this page viewing this dress right now. So if they only have 258 in stock or whatever, like 100 in stock, I better add this to cart and purchase it right away, right? And so, and with this little hot flame icon next to it as well. So I love that. I think that if ASOS wanted to kind of kick that up a notch, the limited time offer, sense of urgency, and stock counters and things like that to help just encourage that conversion, it could be really easily implemented in this area.
Yeah, I like the fact that they have even how many people were viewing the product. I don't know if how
Mhm.
accurate that is, but definitely gives me a sense of urgency. If
Yeah.
there's only a few and there are almost 300 people seeing, so add to bag, add to bag, add to bag.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so Mel, I was thinking since we're here on the product detail page and I saw a lot of good things. I noticed they are talking about free delivery and there's more information here. Is there anything else you want to go through here? Because I'm also, eager to see what happens once we add a product to the bag and see how the checkout page and all the checkout flow is. Is there anything else you want to cover, or can we jump to the to
Yeah,
the to the
let's do
bag?
that. Okay, I think this dress looks pretty good. Let's add this one.
I know you paused there and I noticed your eyes like looking the dress. It is a beautiful dress, by the way.
Uh, okay. Oh, I did notice the mini cart drop down, which was good. When I added it to cart, it did give the user feedback that that item was added to cart.
Yes, yes. Well, one of the things that I'm noticing here, so let's think of this like a different slices. So on the left hand, I have my bag and the item that was added. Uh, and then what I liked the fact that it will be reserved for 60 minutes. What that actually means, I don't want to go on the rabbit hole on the technical, specifications for the e-commerce, but every time you add something to the cart, a reservation is created in order to another, so you can add your credit card information, your billing information, your address, where it's going to be shipped. So no one else can purchase the same product. So technically speaking, it's like the product was on the shelf, and then you pick up the product, took to the sales person and said, "Hey, can you hold that for me? I just need to go to my car, grab all my credit card, my my wallets there, and I'll get back here to purchase." And they are holding that for you. If you never show up, if you never come to purchase, they would just put it back on the shelf. And that's exactly what is happening here. So I would say unless if a website, an e-commerce website that doesn't care for stock or availability, because there are some of them that so uh, doesn't care about how many items is going to be sold on the website. This is a very nice tool because every website that cares about stock and inventory, they will be doing the same thing. They will put that product in a reservation. But the fact that says it's going to be here for 60 minutes, it's good because also gives me the sense of urgency. Like, well, I cannot, it's just like when you're booking a ticket, a flight ticket, and they say, have 15 minutes to finalize your purchase. Otherwise, the price can go up or down. Anyways, we can't guarantee the price you have right now. So this is good. The other thing that I liked is that I have enough details about the product, and then who is going to be shipping. I don't know if you noticed, but here says you'll be shipped by ASOS UK, which means that you already know that this is coming from across the Atlantic. So it's going to take a little bit longer to arrive. So it's a good information because I hate when you add something to your cart, and then in the product detail page it says usually ships within 3 days, and then you add to the cart and go to the checkout, and then you realize while you add in the shipping information that's going to take 5 weeks for you to receive the product. That's frustrating. One thing that I would change, I don't know because I didn't see happening to you, but I was open here on the back as well. Once I add a product to the cart, it identified my IP from Canada and said, "Oh, beautiful, you have free shipping for Canada." And I thought that was great because it's an easy thing to do. All I need to do is to check my IP and make sure that my IP is from Canada, and that's all. It doesn't need to be much precise because it doesn't say exactly the province I'm in, it just said Canada, which is great. But then one thing that I think could be improved is the ASOS Premier USA, because that is a very nice thing that upsell during the checkout. Great, I love the idea, but it's for US only. So if they have the opportunity, like they did, to check my IP address and know that I'm from Canada, and even offer me exclusive free shipping for Canada, that area should have or could have also a trigger that says, well, the guys from Canada don't offer something that is for US only. That's one thing that I would definitely would add to it. Because even if by accident I add to the bag, I didn't try to, but I keep thinking what would happen. I would then purchase an item that is not even available for my country, uh, you know uh, well, and then just to be clear, I'm not guessing. I went to the through the to the you know the 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 terms and conditions, and I read it there. Unless the terms and conditions is outdated, that's exactly what would happen. I would never be able to be part of it because it's for US only. Then I saw a little something extra. That's great. That's great. That's an incentive to purchase something else. One thing that I would suggest, because this is great, I wouldn't change at all, but I would suggest, and I know it's hard to do it on fashion because you have so many attributes like size, colors, etc. But maybe try to offer products that are simpler to sell, so you can have an add to cart or add to bag straight up,
Mm.
so you don't need to go back to the product detail page and now start reading everything again. And like we noticed, the reservation for my product was 60 minutes, And we know how sometimes you can get lost on, oh, now that I saw the shoes, now I want to see this pants, now I want to see this dress, now I want to see this, jacket, etc. So maybe and it's possible to control that with the products that will be displayed there in the bag area, the shopping cart. I would just do that. I think that would be my
Yeah.
suggestion for that area. And then after that, uh, free standard shipping information, and then even say, because some people say, well, now that I'm here, where's my items, and then you can see the saved items, etc. This is good. But if you click on the checkout, if you could click there, one thing that was different for me is this page. Just enter an email there, your email, and click continue to
Let us test
checkout.
one.
I want to show you something.
Okay.
And your expectation is to go to the checkout process,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Entering your billing information, address, etc. But no, you're just in the page there, more like a sign up for a newsletter and join the club. It's not like the checkout per se. So right now you went through three steps, different steps, uh, and all of them so far is just to validate who you are and just you to sign up the newsletter. You're still not at the checkout place, which is could be frustrating, especially if you are in a hurry. I would suggest maybe to reduce these steps, maybe have everything in just one page, or if that's really important for you. But again, you cannot check out as a guest, like I was mentioning before. The other thing that I noticed, and that I can think of a handful of different reasons why they are doing that, but you may not know, but you're not on the same website anymore. Because if you look at the URL, you're now the URL is myasos.com. And that's why perhaps we're seeing this different background, which is disjointed with everything that we saw on the website so far. I can think of many reasons why they're doing that, centralizing payment and orders to just one website, even to especially during peak seasons like Black Friday, Christmas, etc. This is great. This is actually, if they're doing for that reason, I would say they're very smart. So you don't overwhelm the server, etc. There's a lot of good reasons for that. Maybe business reasons that we don't know, but amazing. The fact they're doing that. My only suggestion still would be consistent with the design, even if we're in a different URL.
Yes. Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, very good points.
Anything else, Mel? You want to add? I think
Yeah, I think we
from
covered everything.
yeah, I think we cover everything, and then I think it's great to see those wonderful B2C brands doing some fantastic job. I know we're here to criticize the points that we think that, critique the areas that we think could be improved. I think for ASOS, they're doing an amazing job with the website so far. There was a few points that we think could be used as an improvement. Uh, from our perspective, this is a very nice website, well developed, well maintained, and I hope that you liked our 2 days, tear down of ASOS website. And again, don't forget, if you like to see your website, going through the same process we've been doing with so many brands, just go underneath the video, and you're gonna see in the description all the contacts. Just shoot us an email or get in touch with us, and I'll be more than happy to go through your website and do the same thing we're doing for all these amazing brands. I think that's all. I think we covered everything. Hope you have enjoyed and hope to see you in the next video. See ya.